से बेसिकली मेरा फर्स्ट सेशन है जो कि टाइपस्क्रिप्ट के ऊपर है और मैं थोड़ा नर्वस भी हूँ। अगर कुछ लगे तो आप मुझे फीडबैक बाद में दे सकते। Okay, so this session is about TypeScript essential to get started with TypeScript and how to use this in the backend service. So first, what is TypeScript? So first things that comes in mind whenever we see TypeScript, that is what is TypeScript. You can consider TypeScript as a superset of JavaScript, like JavaScript with superpower, and it is developed by the Microsoft, and it is more like feature is like type. It defines types in the JavaScript. So first step would be the setting up the TypeScript. So I will go to my VS Code, and I have created a folder, empty folder, and will initialize a project. Yeah. So basically, we're requiring two npm packages to run TypeScript in our Node.js environment. First will be the Node.js and TypeScript, and meanwhile I will create an index folder here. If anyone having PC, you can continue with me. And second one would be the TSX that will compile the TypeScript and run in the Node.js environment. Will install in the dev environment. So in the command prompt, so whenever we will write another command here, so we don't need to write run every command whenever we change file. So we'll write a watch command here. It will be tsx. We'll watch the entire folder. Yes. And we need to change the entry point of this file because we are using the TypeScript, so we need to change this to ts. It was now we are ready to go. So first we'll log our hello world. And we run npm watch. Now you can see that our first TypeScript command was run successfully. So now let's deep dive into something to that. So now as we successfully setting up our TypeScript part, so we'll move to the next part. That will be the basic TypeScript annotation. So again, I will move to our VS Code and explain what is basic type of that. There is some common types that we are using in the JavaScript also. That is number, string, boolean, array, and there is a new like tuple, enum, any word. These are the new types, like new types that was introduced in the TypeScript only. So we will know how it is going to use. Number will be used whenever we want to use in an integer. String you can use this in the string. Boolean if value is true false. Array you can use this in the array. And tuple will be the kind of object and it will be different. And enum will be like normal enum. I will define you in the enum. If we want to define the enum, we need to type this enum and let's say status. And status will be This is how we define this. So whenever we want to use this enum, so we'll just need to console dot status and pending. So it will log this pending status. So this is how we define the enum and use that enum in any way. So next part would be the undefined. Whenever the value is undefined, we can use that undefined method. Null, this similar to undefined, but this can be used. And never is like this. Never, we don't need to access that. Never it means we can't access this value. For example, this is how we define like the annotation of defining types is after the variable name we define the types here. So this is how we define neighbor types here. So unknown is whenever we don't know the types of the variable. So try to use unknown instead of any whenever we are using any. Try to use unknown instead of any. So this is the basic type of TypeScript that we are going to use in the future of whenever we are creating any project in the TypeScript. And the next part would be the interfaces. Interfaces is like defining the types of object. Previously, we defined types in a single value like string and boolean. What if we want to define the types in a whole object, like in a want to create a class and we want to define their types? So how do we do that? By defining the interfaces. So let's define an interface here. Consider we are creating a product and we are defining their interface here. Why I am putting I and E here to distinguish the enum and interface. So whenever I want to use interface, so I will type I product. That means this is the product's interface, and status means this is E status means enum status. So that is the reason behind that I am using E and I over here. So let's say we want to create a product. And it will automatically, if you are using the VS Code, it automatically shows you the available values of any interfaces. So it will show the name and we can define that. And price. So this is how we define any product in use interface and define this interface. So if we want to use this product, so it will show our autocomplete that this product has name. So if I want to access the slug of this product that was not exist in this interface, but you can see the error over here, like there is a undefined because that slug does not exist on the interface of product. So this is how you can prevent some errors before they occur. So this is about all about interfaces, basic types. If anyone have any question, anytime you can raise your hand and we'll try to answer that. So this is all about the interfaces. This is basic types of interfaces. Like we can use this interface in the function, like this is product, and we want to use in a function log product. And in same in apply in the function element. If you want to define the functions types, so you have functions parameter type, you can use this. So this is whenever we are trying to call this function, this will log the product's name. Yeah, awesome. So this is how we can define interfaces. There are some edge cases. Uh, like if we want to define their, let's say, sale price. Like on every time we don't like the sale price will not be on the every product. So how can we differentiate that? So we can create a sale price in the interface, but we can keep it as optional by putting question mark before the column. So this is sale price. But if we don't define over here, this will not throw us a error. So because this is the optional. So whenever we trying to define the optional parameter in the interface, we can use the question mark to define the sale optional parameter here. So if we are accessing the sale price here, so it will, we save this and we'll see that the price is undefined because we didn't pass this, but it will not show us any error because we know that the price sale price is can be undefined. So if I put the sale price here, then this will be show the price. So this is how we can define the optional parameter here. We can pass the optional parameter in the functions too. Like if you want to like log, and this can be optional by the same way putting this. The log parameter we are keeping this as a boolean, and we'll check this if log, then log the console. This we can this you can now see that this is the boolean parameter. We can pass the, this is all about using and defining the interface. If anyone have question, you can ask. Interface. So all good with interface. Please thumbs up everyone so we can move to the next part. Yeah, seems to be clear. So the next part would be the ES6 class, because all of you know ES6 has introduced the class. Okay. Yeah. Varsha ma'am, that is a good question. What is the difference between any and unknown? We use any whenever the type can be anything that occur like null and array number anything. But unknown means we know there is something coming up like maybe there is a no undefined and null on the unknown. So let's move to the class section. So in the ES6 we have class, but we can't use as the other coding structure using the oops functionality. But TypeScript feature have the extensibility of using oops functionality of using the class. So we'll create a TypeScript class and use that, and we'll define this. We'll use this function here. So we try to create a class. There is a common function of any class that would be constructor that calls whenever. And we initialize this name with the this value. This we can access the class variable by this dot annotation, and we can access the name. And what if we have defined the name is string and we want to access the number? This will show us an error like the type number is not assignable to type string. So this is how we know the what is the type of string that variable that we are assigning to. Let's say we have a common function of any class. We just log the name of. Now here comes the TypeScript pass. So in the basic JavaScript we can just define the class, but in the TypeScript we can extend this class and create another class. And let's say we can create another class of cat. And to extend this class, there is a normal oops concept. You can, if you have any one of the oops, you can extends the animal. There is a constructor for this class too. So this constructor does not require any variable for this. So if you want to anything to the parent class, so we need to use the keyword of super super accept the argument that we passed in the constructor of animal class. So we pass the name, so we need to pass the name here. So let's say name our cat to Kitty. So then we don't need to define the my name function over here, because this is can be accessible of this class on this class. So let's say we are going to define a new function for this cat only. So we define can walk. Just log. Now we define the classes. Let's how we can use this. So to use that class, we just create a console.log. First, we need to initialize these classes by get new the class name that you created. In this case, we created the cat. So now we can access this function and this function from a single object. So remember the class was also a object, so we can use this. And there is a two function you can see here, can walk and can my name, because my name came from the parent class and can walk came from the class that extends the animal. Now we can call one by one. Now we can see the log. Yes, you can see the my name is Kitty and yes, I can walk. So this is how we define the class. Same in this class, we can use these all the types that we define here, interfaces and the enum. We can use that in the class. So let's say if we want to use the enum here, sorry, we can use the enum. Let's say we can define the new enum for the animal. Let's say their type, birth type. Some animal born from the egg, some from the some from the womb. So now we can use this over here. We can define a new variable here, birth type, and we will define this birth type to this variable enum. And in the constructor, we will accept another parameter, and we will keep that as a optional parameter. So we'll keep birth type to optional. We'll put a question mark, and we'll use this birth type, and we'll same as define initialize that to the class variable. And now you can see that this is throwing an error because here birth type is required, but here birth type is optional. So this is showing the error. To avoid that, we'll check if there is any birth type. We'll define that. Otherwise, now you can see that the error has been gone. Now create a function. Okay, so now you can see that there is no error in this super function. So we can pass the birth type here. Now, whenever we see click control space, we can see the what is the birth type available for this parameter. Now we can see the cat from born from the womb. So we can't access directly give the string. So we need to access the birth type and we'll provide the home. So we don't need to type every time home. So we can access that from the birth type. Whenever this is centralized our code. Like if we want to change the home text, so we can change from here. So that can be changed anywhere that birth type was used. So use that will log this. Now we can see that this getting from this function from home. So anyone notice why we are getting undefined? If anyone have answer, you can say that why we are getting undefined every time we are this. If anyone knows, anyone knows why we are getting undefined every time after this log? Why? Mm, then this log came from where? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this undefined because we are logging the function that in the function inside the function we have a console log that logs first, and after that the function was not returning anything, so that logging the undefined. So now we can define the return types. Let's see how we can define any return types. If I want to how to avoid that, so we'll remove one console log here. Now we can see that there will be no undefined for this. Yeah. So now we'll define the return type. So now we'll create another function in the main class, let's say age of the animal. And this would be the required. So remember whenever we are passing anything to any function, the optional parameter will be in the last. So we'll define the age before the birth type. After defining the birth type, now you can see the error in the super here because we are not passing the age here. So we'll pass the age. So we can pass, let's say this cat of 70, 100. Now we can define the function. And now we can define the function return type. To define the function return type, use the after function, use this code annotation, and the function type will be the number because age is number. So we'll define the number here. Now it is showing the function whose declared type is neither defined void must be return a value. So this is showing like we define number but we are not returning anything. So if we return, so this error will be gone. Now say that now we can use this function anywhere. Like some function you will define and that will return the object. So on that case we will put the interface, create a new interface for that response and use that interface in the return type. Now we'll log that. My cat dot my age. This will log the number from home and 700. And this is something like simple about the class and utilizing this. You can go advanced and use the interface in here, and in the parameter you can use the interfaces and the enum and combine this to create a beautiful anything project that you want. And if anyone have question in the interface, this is all basic pretty much about the interfaces. If anyone having any question, please raise your hand. Yeah, we'll see that in last because we're in this. If anyone having question in the interface, okay, seems to be good. So we'll move to the next part, and this will be the. I think we'll discuss this like the function type. We already defined this in the class function type. How to define this function constructor name. This is the function type we define here. The name and the birthday object. Let's say we want to combine this in a single object, single interface. We'll create an interface here. So we'll define all the interfaces here. We just need to pass that data, and this was the name. So how we can access the name? Now it was showing the error. Now how we can access the age? So we will define this data.age. On the child class, we'll get an error. So we need to combine this in the object. This is age. Now we can pass the parameters in any order. So we don't need to pass the first name, second age, and third is birth type. We can pass the parameters in any sequence. Now this will works as before because we just wrap this in a object. So whenever there is a parameter above 3 or 4, try to wrap in an object, and whenever you are utilizing that, destructure that, there is a good function like we are accessing variable one by one, so we can do that by destructuring those elements. So now we don't need to access by dot. Now we have the end of this session. Like how in this session we learn how to define the basic types and set up our TypeScript project for this Node.js and utilize the interface enum and function and the class ES6 function. We create a class and the function parameter and the function return types we use and create in this session. And this session is the part one, and we will in the next session we'll create the server and use this all the types that we discussed today, and that we hope that we'll take that session soon. So if anyone have question throughout this session, please ask. स्मित भाई ताली कुछ क्वेश्चन हो तो भी पूछ लो.
नहीं नहीं भाई, अच्छा समझा है.
और कोई कुछ क्वेश्चन? बोलो आकाश. I think we'll end this session and I will सो ये मेरा पहला सेशन था तो मैं होप करता हूँ कि सही से समझाया हूँ सो मैं एक फीडबैक फॉर्म शेयर करूंगा जो एनोनिमस होगा आपको नाम अपना डालने की जरूरत ही नहीं आप फीडबैक शेयर कर सकते हो अगर कुछ इम्प्रूवमेंट करने की कर सकते हैं और और लर्निंग में कुछ अगर हम इम्प्रूवमेंट कर सकते हैं कि अगर कुछ अलग टाइप का सिखाएं तो बेटर होगा